Yeah.
All right. Well, you can hear a remake is underway. So let's run it back. Let's track it again, see how it comes out, and then laugh at absolutely terrible spawns. But you can't get away from it. This one's just as bad. Oh no!
Oh no.
What's that wood line? What, like legit?
Yeah.
What is that wood line?
That is one messed up woodline spawn.
Okay, in fairness, right, this is balanced, right? The first spawn was Scuffer B. The second one is consistent.
Yeah, scuffed with both of them. I mean, if I'm B, I would have preferred the other spawn, to be honest.
Yeah, because at least in that one you got, was it berries, gold, and wood? Well, this one, you can this one too, but you have to go even further out if you want it.
Oh, that is unfortunate for him.
Wow.
It looks like both players...
Okay, VortiX.
Yeah,
okay, VorTX's spawn is like worse than what it was though, right? Because he got like a forward spawn gold and only a back spawn wood, so he doesn't have wood flexi.
I also thought it was pretty nice with VortiX in the last game having that nice wood line in front of his base. It makes it a little bit easier for him to defend if B looks to go for a Burgrave push.
Yeah, because like the cool thing for VortiX is he could have dropped a Barbican to defend his gold and his wood. Now he has to like use it for one if it comes to that. So it's a bit fair in that regard. Not too many changes around the water side. I think like my whole point around you put a dock on the Sacred Site Island and in the center as well on the mainland still applies. Like you basically create the Seagate Castle in real life, right? For anyone who knows the history. Which was like a giant fortification along like, you know, the crossing at Gallipoli, I think. But the whole point is like you can't get past it. You will get Gatling gunned down by emplacements if you try to fly past it. What's your favorite map, Merlin?
Ooh, my favorite map. That's a tricky one. I love Canal. I think Canal is my favorite one within the EGC Golden League pool at the moment. I love the games on there. I always like the Dark Age battles.
I like the balance of it where you've got limited safe resources and limited space to utilize. So there's an intent to make you come out of your base, right? I also love how it's the best named map. It's got a logical name. I'm going to throw Bidlin on the bus here and say all the other maps have confusing names.
Yeah. Rocky Canyon. The not,
not
so
very
rocky Canyon.
Yep. And then, was it Dry River? Incredibly dry river, by the looks of it. There's a bunch of little toilets.
Yeah. What about the worst map?
The worst map that we have in rotation right now probably has to just be Hillendale.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Ooh, or the pit. I don't know. I feel like the pit is really annoying me now.
Yeah. I feel like the pit... I personally don't mind watching it. It's when I'm playing it.
Yeah, it's very obtuse, right? Like, it feels like it should be quite open, and then you realize it's not, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's an accurate name because you feel like you're stuck in a pit. You're playing the same monotonous kind of style of gameplay. I'm either trading and walling up, or I'm just full-on aping you at 10 minutes as the Mongols. This, though, I mean, like, I think people just love this. Like, every player I've talked to has had kind of positive reception towards Holy Island. Even when it was just you play Men-at-Arms English and that's it. Like, they still had a positive reception where they liked the map.
Yeah, I think this has got to be one of the best maps that we've had for competitive Age of Empires 4. I mean, we've constantly seen like a slow rotation of civs on this map as well. I think especially now, Roos is going to be one of the best civs. I think we'll be seeing banned out most of the time like these two players have done this time around.
And HRE is definitely on the rise, which is why you see B picking it. A lot of players are opting towards that. We even saw one or two funky Abbasid picks. You mentioned one game where Blue's Calp was trying to trade. Then we've just seen outright play for later game type situations that can work out. Also, Abbasid is definitely a good civ at doing that, kind of blocking off the choke point that I talked about in the water, because you can build docks that are cheaper.
Yeah. We're going to have to see how many sheep B gets in this time. I mean, last game, he was very lucky. How many sheep did he have? Like
16?
20 sheep?
I think 16, maybe like 2 a club down already. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck. All right. 19 on one side. 16 another. Who cares though? No player like goes, oh no, I've lost water. Let me just go on cheap. They just GG out. B doesn't have that option though. He will have to play this one down to the bitter end.
Ark and Chapel for B. Not in the best spot there. Like, it's the best that he could have got. He wants that wood line. He wants the food underneath the town center for if he does eventually want to use it.
You know what makes it feel worse is like, because you're playing a water map, you don't get feudal quickly. So you had to build a lumber camp.
Yeah, you're not even saving any resources from that Ark and Chapel placement.
No, it feels like nitpicking, but it is nice, right? It's like 50 resources saved. Like, you know, I'm sure there's many people in the chat that they just won Civ French all their life, are like 25 wood is nothing. But every other Civ has to pay 50, which can sting in the early game. Yeah.
I mean, that 50 wood could be going towards one of B's many demolition ships that I'm sure he'll be making this game.
Please God, no. I like the, like, honestly, I like the demo ship clutch recovery plays whenever I see double docks. I feel like they have rarely, ever turned a game around when they are single dock play. So annoying for B, though, because he'll need that second dock up against the Chinese, that increased production rate. Like, VortiX should realistically be ahead on production. You know, we can talk about this 40% gathering speed advantage that B gets. As we already mentioned, he doesn't have a great Ark and Chapel placement. And at this stage in the game, you know, one dock versus one dock, VortiX isn't going to be strained in terms of resources. Oh, hello.
Wow, this is unexpected.
Say that with more enthusiasm, Merlin. I want to, like, oh, come on. Wow!
Wow, this is unexpected.
On Holy Island? I've never seen that before.
The question is he going to be going for trying to burn down the docks, or is he looking to do a little bit of harassment? I mean, VortiX does have a very forward gold right there. Yet to place down his Barbican, though.
But this is so bad. Look what VortiX is already building. Horsemen are actually really good against men-at-arms. So, like, if B was just building Spearmen, if his intent is to burn down the dock, Spearmen makes more sense, right? But because he's mass men-at-armsing, VortiX is just going to counter him on arrival. And you know, I don't know if you noticed, but men-at-arms, they have little baby arms, but also baby legs. They're not very good at running away. And he's going to be the offensive player here. I think this is just going to be a burn of like 400 resources for B and nothing gained.
Yeah. For the time being, like, VortiX looks like he wants to return the raid with those horsemen. But we see a tower already up for VortiX on that gold mine.
Yeah, and he can just go for hand cannon slits. Like, the problem is just, like, B, you know, you don't want to build too many men-at-arms. And the thought process is, like, if VortiX just matches the number of horsemen, it's the fact that you can get these horsemen down to, like, 10 HP, but then they just move away, right? That's always the annoyance of dealing with. And this is the other flexi they have. Is after that, even if they're 10 HP left, they come raiding in like this. A player's first knee-jerk reaction is to run away, not to turn around and stab. I say that before B, he actually pinches them against the tree line. Well played.
I think VortiX does still get maybe one villager kill in there.
Wow.
Yeah, he did get one. Maybe even get a second one here.
B?
But the amount of idle time.
B?
VortiX, sorry. VortiX.
Oh my god, B's micro in water. He doesn't even realize there.
Oh, no.
Oh my god, that went from like the most genius play to the most whoopsie daisy I've seen all day. Like,
But at the same time, B's getting off a nice raid there on the gold mine. I mean, B's just invested... He's invested so much resources into wood. He's now going to be struggling a little bit when it comes to his boat situation. And VortiX is going to be pushing him back there.
Okay, be honest, Merlin. Did you think he DC'd again?
A little bit, yeah.
I legit thought someone had gnawed their way through his Ethernet cable at that point. Like that looked rough, but it was just there was intense naval warfare. Intense naval warfare going on that the B came out behind him, and now because of all that idle time, he's even further behind.
Yeah, big hit to the wood economy. And B's just spent all that resources into a blacksmith, 2 barrackses.
I love the way that VortiX is holding this fight hostage with demos. He keeps forcing B to turn around and never gets the shots off. Finally, the booms come in. Another big win here for VortiX. Although there's healing on the side of B, it's heavy damage as well, and another demo ship just sneaks in. Where the hell are these coming from? It's like Poseidon has summoned them from the deeps.
VortiX getting so much value from those demolition ships right there. But B also getting off some nice shots as well. About even now.
If VortiX sneaks up with an aggro dock drop, which he can do here because he's on the offensive, I think B is in dire straits. Like, VortiX has enough wood to do that as well. In fact, he's kind of over booming in the wood department. Oh, yeah, okay.
Neither of these players...
To draw straws, someone has to turn around and fire at that.
Yeah. Neither players have any arrow ships out. Now B has one on the back line there.
Both have one, actually. VortiX going to come in.
Yeah.
I know, folks. You're like, wait, is that an archer ship or is that a springled ship? The eternal question when you play against the Chinese.
The only ship that's easy to distinguish is the Dao, and the springled ship for the Abbasid and Delhi.
You don't think like galleys and springled ships, like I don't know, like if we look at B's fleet, I feel like you can kind of tell, right?
It's still, it's easier to distinguish than the Mongols and the Chinese.
I get what you mean. But it's like there are some ships where it's they're absurdly different and it's obvious. Then there's some that are in the middle, and then you just got like the Chinese, where it's like you look at this mass coming at you, you're like, which one has one mast, which one has two? It's the only way you can tell. This trip demo ship, by the way, good lordy, he's moving in quick. Nice demo return, but it only gets rid of one. B once again held hostage, has to go for the counter demo out. VortiX once again gaining ground, and remember, he's shutting down fishing as well. B is at risk of just being pushed fully off water at this rate.
3 more demos in the queue for VortiX. Both of these players love their demo ships.
Why do demos not really kill demos that well? Is this like a Bane moment?
That was a good demo right there from B. Yeah, I mean...
Like you were merely trained in the demolitions. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see a defuse until I was but a full man.
Yeah, you would have thought when TNT... or whatever's on that
TNT,
demolition ship.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like when a mummy and a daddy love each other very much. No, when TNT is a different kind of explosion, it's quite a vicious one. Right? It's like full fireworks display, please. This is getting a little bit weird with VortiX's demos, though. Like, I think he was expecting to find more of a fleet, but B kind of slowed down. It looks like he's trying to get a few more land units out here, which is forcing the reaction out of VortiX as well.
It looks like VortiX wants to go into some archers now. Can't go for the Chu Canoe as he's not in Song Dynasty yet. Hasn't constructed that Barbican. Doesn't seem like he wants to whatsoever. Not even to defend that gold mine.
No, and I think he's ever been on stone. So these aren't hand cannon slid, which would be very beneficial right now, considering that they do 25 damage, right? Compared to arrows, which tickle these men-at-arms. Like, hand cannon slits, about 80% of the damage goes through the armor.
VortiX is taking the lead slowly when it comes to the economy. And that comes down to B losing some fishing ships, as well as what we witnessed earlier with what looked like B going AFK. Hopefully that doesn't happen again this time.
He was so distracted by the naval assault. Like, VortiX is why he's so good at this. Like, he's so great on the micro and this kind of distraction. You know, Lucifron really gets a lot of credit as the king of raiding the bros, but VortiX really isn't far behind him, as he's proved in this game. And to your point, like, you know, you kind of spin them the other way around because it's a snowball effect, right? That idle time then leads into this fishing crisis where, like, you know, all that wood missing meant that he couldn't build enough military to keep VortiX fully at bay, which allowed VortiX to have so many more demo ships. And all of a sudden you have this situation now where, you know, that kind of wood idle time comes back to haunt you several minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, every second that VortiX can buy here, where B's not... I don't think it is. You got a couple spearmen there to deal with that horseman. Just let them do the work. So you need your villagers gathering wood. As we can see, VortiX pushing back into B's fishing territory here. Demo ships on the back line. B doesn't have many galleys here to deal with them.
Gosh,
He might get a really good...
Now remember, demos, you don't kill each other. Just kill everything else instead. My VortiX, he might have to sacrifice one here, but just the right amount of sprinkled ships to snipe them down.
B still putting on a lot of pressure here with those men-at-arms onto the gold.
The numbers are growing as well.
Look at them go.
He's up to 10. He's going to make his way into the wood line. Now, this will probably do VortiX a favor, because if there's one thing he has too much of right now, it is wood.
You can never have too much wood, KP.
You can if you care about oxygen and deforestation being a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys never realize it, but AoE 4 is a metaphor for how we're killing the world.
Wow.
But we're not killing the Chinese because they have all those bloody villages. And I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the buildings. It's so annoying to try and actually kill villages when you're up against Chinese.
Yeah, that village right there did manage to save an Imperial official. Unfortunately, they're not going to be saving these villagers, though, on the wood line. A couple more going down. Be able to even up the economic count once again.
Were they meant to tap each other on the shoulders to say we're being raided? It feels like a bunch of them just ran away and didn't let everyone else know. No one else got the memo. But so he's going to clean it up. VortiX, you know, he was looking to leverage more archers here. I think he could even like eventually creep into a ram and do some damage on the other side. We're several minutes away. I think at this rate, VortiX's players probably got up to like 20 archers, go the long way around like the horsemen were, and get in on that wood line. Because that time, if B chooses to turn around with ships and attack you, every single peasant in the Holy Roman Empire will die.
B's stacking up quite a bit of food now. Looks like he's just still wanting to invest into men-at-arms. But he's putting a lot of villagers down onto the gold. I think this might be a Burgrave play. Or do you think it could even be the Regnants?
I think you are too threatened by map control right now to go Regnant. It feels kind of weird because like VortiX, he hasn't gone no land, right? So if you go Regnant, like how many relics can you realistically get here?
Yeah, it's probably like 2.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if that, yeah.
Like Burgrave gives you a timing attack, which should be his goal here. Archer's going to move in though. Horsemen have a little assault. Oh, those pesky bloody horsemen. And B's response once again. Get the shivs out, boys. Problem is that there's archers here this time. I do believe that is textiles, which is going to minimize losses, but idle time and dead villagers alongside this is definitely a stinger for B.
Yeah, we can see VortiX taking quite a lead now when it comes to the economy.
Yeah, I'm also
He's
worried
having to invest
about the fact that VortiX just got Song Dynasty, right? So now that villager lead is going to extend, not shrink.
Yeah. He's definitely going to have to make something work on the water here. And he's looking pretty convincing, though. Have a look at the mass of sprinkled ships he's got. Needs to be careful of those demos, though. That could have been a much worse situation right there for B.
VortiX is really good with this micro, though. Do you see that demo ship and how it just kept changing course? It just draws more attention. Like, even when he's not getting a hit, you have to remember how many sprinkled ships and galleys are, like, running away from him or shooting at him, right? That's time spent by his sprinkled ships to return fire. That being said, like, B has such an insane lead in terms of hulks, he should never lose this battle.
Yeah, he's looking very strong on water right now.
Seriously, like, where do these demos keep coming from? It feels like they just creep up on you very suddenly.
Yeah, they just appear out of nowhere.
I'm convinced that they are. I'm convinced those hulls are like there's an opening gate on the side, and they just push a little demo ship out.
That would be very cool.
It actually sounds like what the Grand Galley should do, doesn't it?
Yeah, that would be a really cool idea for a ship design.
Just spawns other ships.
Yeah.
And you call it the mothership. God, like, yes, there we go. All the alien enthusiasts are putting their tinfoil hats on right now, but it's a great name.
He's almost got enough gold for the age up. Still a little bit behind when it comes to the food.
I think VortiX goes like 5 demos, spreads them out super wide, and then just pushes them from all angles. Like, that would probably kill the whole fleet, and then B has to reinvest, which is what's happening here. Like, you saw it. He just queued up 3 demos, 2 springalds. Every time you think he's going to go Castle Age, he needs more ships.
Yeah. It looks like he's committing to it now. Only 200 or 100 food away. And for B, I really think it's just about keeping his fishing economy alive while he goes for a... Okay, it's not going to be Burgrave. It's going to be Regnants. Going for the greedy option.
But it kind of makes sense from what he just done, right? VortiX dove that gold line, and he lost the whole army. The problem is VortiX, instead of being like, okay, that doesn't work anymore, is rebuilding the army. Shugenu and Horsemen on the way. It's going to make it difficult to get these relics unless you pull both your prelates and run them out before the tech up completes. Or, you know, the alternative is you just dive the Chinese economy and they defend. Oh, wow. I think B just got caught using a full formation there. Remember, when you click to retreat like that, the demos go to the backside. So the archer ships just got rid of the demos. B needs to be very careful here. We'll manage to get rid of the demos that VortiX is chasing with, but Tech Up does come out, and VortiX now an extreme disadvantage considering he's on full defense here.
VortiX, I think he's looking for a castle age as well. We can see stacking up quite a bit of gold, quite a bit of food. He's really looking to put on the aggression here. We see so many demo ships just sprinkled in there, keeping B's attention focused.
It's tough, right? Like, there hasn't been this definitive moment where someone just won water. Usually you see that by now in Holy Island, but it's just been non-stop. I love the way they're both negotiating territory. B pushes up. He creates a space barrier to go for that tech up. VortiX then understands and pushes back. They respect each other enough to do this dance, this tug of war, never committing too hard in a way that gives up water entirely.
The big issue I see for B now, for VortiX now, is those men-at-arms in B's base. Those men-at-arms in VortiX's base, sorry. Oh,
that was almost a crit hit right there. Like, he was inches away from deleting half that fleet.
But look at those men-at-arms. They're completely idling VortiX's wood economy. And that means VortiX won't be able to reinvest into these boats.
And the castle age as well. So they're not dying anytime soon. Even against the hand cannon slits, there's only one hand cannon slit there. I mean, VortiX, he's went 22 minutes in this game. He's been up against heavily armored units for half of that. And he never once went onto stone. He never once could. So he never actually got hand cannon slits to defend against this. Now he's lost the fleet. This just might be a GG call from VortiX. Like, he's got really nothing left here. He's going to go for the tech up. So maybe one last Ura of a crossbow mass. If he can't get up to like 10 crossbows to stop the bleeding, and if he starts losing this fishing fleet as well, I don't see any way that a Chinese player can get back into this game.
Men-at-arms for B, though, just going to be gathering up here. Very surprising to see that he's not just right-clicking VortiX's base with those.
I think for like B, he probably just wants to keep diving the tree line, make sure VortiX can't go back on water, because then that means that B doesn't have to, with paranoia, build more fishing, more military on the sea, right? He can just fully invest on water. Speaking of which, he's now transitioning into knights. VortiX has a big problem with his hands because he's only been pushing crossbows. You're only going to need spears instantly if you want to hold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those knights are going to be able to just rampage through VortiX's base. Only up to 6 crossbows at the moment for VortiX.
I think he gets enough crossbows together to deal with the men-at-arms, but like he hasn't walled, so these knights will get in. And even if they don't, like the fact that you're now not pressing the HRE when they just took water, they've got any fishing they want, and it's the HRE means like they could just try to outboom you still. You know, I do want to see B attack though. Like if you check that Navy side, VortiX isn't defending anymore, but by the power of Grayskull, I guess. I can't think of what else would empower you here. He's got about 20 fishing boats just casually fishing with no protection.
VortiX just throwing away crossbows right here. He's going to be able to buy a little bit of value with them taking out a knight there, but still, a few of them getting taken out right there as they retreat back to the Barbican.
It's the best he can do, but like, the best ain't really great here. Like, you're just going to hemorrhage a lot of the crossbows you need to actually ultimately defend. I don't think you're going to buy much time here. Like, there's not much gold left either. I think B just got vital info there. So he should now be checking and tracking when the next gold lines are. Because VortiX's comp needs a lot of gold. It's cavalry plus crossbows.
Men-at-arms for B. Going to have to retreat back.
This is paining me on the water side. It's like it's one of these things where B will review the VOD and he'll be face palming as well. Like he's so paranoid. It's kind of weird that he isn't going aggro because he hasn't even rebuilt the fishing fleet, right? He's just kind of sitting here and building docks slowly along the coast.
Yeah, he's grabbed some upgrades as well for the water, which VortiX hasn't done. Which yeah, it's just he's just basically giving up on that waterfront now.
This is the value of like one fishing boat as well, by the way. It's very easy to forget that fishing boats are scouts on water, right? So if you had one here for 75 wood, you'd see everything right now. You'd understand that VortiX is begging to be annihilated on the sea. I think he got a transpo ship though, right? No. It looked like a transpo ship. Ignore me.
VortiX at the moment floating a lot of wood.
He definitely got a transpo ship. Am I just... I'm just imagining things. There was a relic on that island though, right?
I think you are. Oh, wait.
Yeah. There was 100% a relic on that island. Or at least there should be. So at some point he had a transport ship and picked it up, but he didn't capture the sacred site.
Are you sure? Or was that not last game that there was a relic?
There was definitely one last game. I didn't check. Yeah, he had transpo. So yeah, he did go for it.
Yeah, he does.
I was gonna say, there's no way. Like, it's like that would be a pretty big indiscrepancy in map spawns if it wasn't spawning, because it's intentionally meant to spawn one relic on the island. Was there not one this time? Maybe there wasn't. He's got transpo ships anyway for some reason. That in the fleet.
I'd assume there was.
Is this just aggressive posturing? They're just there to make the fleet look bigger than it is? Who knows? Tune in next week when we find out.
But now B's fleet is able to just completely take out VortiX's fishing here. Hasn't bothered whatsoever to try and defend it, which he's focusing on the land now. But
does VortiX just have like surprise face? Like, I'm surprised I got that much. Right, like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of knew it was coming. I think he's very happy with that because that allowed him to build a defense force. Like, if he didn't have that fishing that whole time, the game's probably over when he lost that fight on the sea, like 4 or 5 minutes ago.
He's trying to go into mass horsemen now. Got how many stables is that? That's like 7 stables right there, just producing horsemen.
It's pretty.
VortiX is, like, yeah, it really is.
Like
I mean, VortiX has no spearmen.
We shouldn't sugarcoat poop here. You know, like if VortiX could see what we could see, he would have just won game 4 already.
Yeah. Ulansknecht's mixed in here as well.
I think
Scholars,
this is where B rebuilds the fishing fleet as well. It's like the only thing that's kind of crippling his economy slightly. And once that's sorted, he can either just go Imperial before VortiX or end the game.
Yeah.
Outside of a miracle like micro from VortiX. Which, in fairness, he's doing a damn good job. Like, he sniped a lot of Lanks, a lot of the chasing army.
Yeah, impressive fight there for VortiX, actually.
Okay.
He actually got quite a lot of value from that.
So B's getting Military Academy now. And this should be where the snowball just gets out of control. Like, right now, he almost has a quad up in terms of military force. It's a triple force, right? That should put him 4 to every 1 defender. And, you know, Chinese have hand cannon slits, and it's really shiny. But, like, also Chinese is kind of on the clock because right now VortiX is supplementing the need to go farms by going for, like, berries and deer. But that's finite resources. Meanwhile, B has just started to get access to deep water fish again. I believe he started setting up fishing, and if he didn't, he's got double deer stack. He's got a long way to go comfortably in. Woo! Hello! VortiX. That's an important raid if you can take some heads, but these are textiled workers.
Yeah, and these are only horsemen. If these were knights, it may have been a different story. But B's got his horsemen over here.
Do you find it kind of silly how often villagers can be out in the middle of nowhere and get away with that?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, horsemen I always think should do more damage versus villagers.
I don't know about that, because like, honestly, what you were suggesting makes horsemen, like, I call them S-tier feudal, now you're just making them S+. Like, I don't know, we need, like, some sort of, like, I don't know, My Hero Academia form, right? Ultra Plus, right? But, like, I think it's more a case of the way that villagers move, their formation shuffling so often lets them basically just run through cavalry. Like, I've literally watched, like, 10 knights charge a villager line, and they just run past them. They don't run around them, they just phase through them, like activating phase technology.
Oh, VortiX doesn't spot all those villagers there.
Oh,
and he moves away?
That's such a big deal as well. That's shoreline fishing. Oh my god. Dude, B is getting away with everything. Villagers just out in no man's land constantly and not dying for it. Okay, so VortiX is buying time. But he needs a lot of it. If he can somehow get to like 4 Nesta Bees, and B doesn't have vision on it, like gets ambushed, you could maybe turn this. But once again, we're talking about like maximum outplays. And B's, he's built up what I call brownie points. Like he can afford to fall in his ass like 4 times before it matters.
Yeah, and we actually see B now looking to take VortiX's fish. He's got a dock up.
He really has just extended along the full shoreline. Got some Hansetic League stuff going on here. Lansky in there though. No, VortiX, that's not the way. Oh, choke points! He has no choice though. If the crossbows get reached by this many horsemen, it's over. And finally, I think we have reached that point where VortiX should be waving that white flag like it's French in World War II. There is no way you hold this.
And there it is. GG gets called. B able to stick in this match point game. He's still going to have to win another 2 to make it through, though. VortiX only needs 1 win.
Yeah, VortiX really hung in that one for a long time, right? Like, he just refused to give in. Played at the bitter end. It's something like we said, like, if you kind of look back at that, you know, you probably, like, if you watch that in the VOD and you have God Vision, you know, VortiX probably GG out at like 22 minutes. Maybe he feels like he's getting away with too much, he still tries. Because he did get away with a lot. Like B, well-earned victory, but I'd say far from clean. Like he could have ended this much quicker. You know, but he played it safe, which a lot of players do like to do when they have an edge.
Yeah, I think the real factor here is when VortiX lost that war on water. I mean, water's just such a crucial part to this map.
Yeah, it was an interesting back and forth. Like I love the amount of respect that both of them shoot each other in those naval engagements. VortiX just eventually gets forced into this like hard commitment. There were some areas where he had a clear edge, like the idle time forced into B's base early on put VortiX ahead. But I think maybe what was missing here was an early dock drop more aggressively, which you can do very easily as the Chinese with your quicker build speed. I think like VortiX didn't necessarily get a full gauge of how far ahead he was at that phase, because if he had passive healing on the offensive, he can just slowly brute force his way through the docks and the HRE is shut down. And all of a sudden we're looking at a 3-0. But instead, we're looking at a potential reverse sweep here. B begins the dream of a recovery. Takes map 3, and we head into the 4th.